mean, of course, one of the things scientific publishers do, everything we publish is peer-reviewed. So it's actually looked at by the experts and validated by the experts. So the first thing you do in that case is you look at the editorial boards of a journal, editorial boards of a publication to see where they are leaning, what they're doing, what the aims and scopes are. So that's one important thing. The other important thing is that we need more data, we need to have a discussion on the data, and if we link into the global publications network through citations to references. This is a very important part which we are playing, and the more of that data is available for free for poorer countries, not behind a paywall, which traditional publishers are doing, the better it is actually for the science to be disseminated across the world.
I mean, has that been a problem in the past, that poorer countries especially have had to pay for data, there simply isn't enough data available, or data that makes sense, data that is relevant to the work being done?
I mean, in all fairness, there are programs to give access to poorer countries, but it's probably the middle income countries who might suffer the most. All library budgets are under threat, and they literally have to buy back their publications after they research it, because they sign off a license to publish with a paywall publisher. And in the open access world, that stays under a Creative Commons license and can be cited and worked from. So we've seen much faster citation rates from the open access publishing world. They are trying to address that. It's an important thing. A lot of institutions and a lot of organizations are trying to address, but there's nothing than fast information where you don't have to sign up for it to get access to it or go through a barrier. If it's out there, and you can cite it and you can look at it and you can work with it.
I mean, it's a very fundamental question, you know, which perhaps those not in the scientific world, you know, may need to ask. I mean, how important is the data to applying sensible, serious solutions to the climate change problem?
Without data, we can't make a validated decision at all. I mean, when we look at the sessions around here, it's all about the data, it's all about the science. And there's every little bit of research which is taking place there directly feeds into the decision-making process in there. And if somebody finds a really great solution for, let's say, carbon capture or carbon emissions, the scientific publishers are the place where we find this information, where we look at the information, where we edit this information, and where you can see that it's out there and where you can read it and implement it in policy.
Are there solutions out there, from what you've read, from what the information that you deal with? I mean, there's a lot of solutions that are floating out. It can be very easy to get confused by the sheer number of solutions people talk about. But in your work, have you seen that?
I'm not a scientist, I'm a publisher. I'm there to make this information available. There's certainly a lot of very interesting information going on there. We just published a special issue on carbon capture, which was based on a workshop with Texas A&M, which really gives an overview of that, but I'm not a scientist. I ensure that the information is out there and the information can be read, disseminated by the international research community.
You also work here specifically on Qatar, on the situation here, which when you look at it initially when you're doing your research about coming to Doha, you look at the statistics and you see that the population here is one of the biggest carbon emission users anywhere in the world. What's been done on that? What's been done here to try to mitigate against that?
As far as I know, there's quite a lot of programs which are going on. There's a Carbon Capture Research Center which is established in the QSTP. There's research done by the oil companies, of course, and because we are in such a fresh environment, we have got a chance to disseminate things from the future rather than from the past. And there's a lot of research, a lot of activities going on that front, and we try to capture that with our journals. But is there a solution out there? I think the first thing you've got to do is you've got to recognize there's a problem, educate about it, do outreach about it, and then see, okay, what can we do to address the problem? Of course, also a lot of the carbon emissions here come from production, and then this gets shipped over to another place and burned somewhere else. So that's definitely something which has to be realized by the public and realized to see that we can really need to do something about it.
Right. And it is being realized, do you think?
I think having COP18 here is a great place to realize this. It's a great place to bring the agenda over here and start educating, start doing the outreach, start working with people on there, and start putting turning up the heat, literally, because it has been recognized, but probably from the public at large, they don't know as much about it as they should be knowing about it.